Hello, everyone. Lovely to see you again for another Wednesday class. Please feel free to say hello in the chat to let us know where you're coming from. Hello, straight in, Jane from Gloucestershire. Lovely to see you. We have Kat on the chat. So if you have any questions or things you need to ask, feel free to put that in. There's Kat. Liz also saying hello from South Norfolk. Annette, brilliant, from Germany. Hello, fantastic. Well, we're going to start the class. I was here last time. I'm here again. So sorry that you've got me 2 days in a row. We are going to be carrying on with the lung that we started last time with lung 1. We started with lung 1, and we're going to carry on with the lung. So I'm going to get us to get up in a second, do the usual thing of a scan, and we'll check in with the burners, and we'll do a poll. But I'm also going to get us to check in with the breath as well. So we're going to get to that now, and then we'll get started with the class. Lots of people saying hello. Beautiful to see you all. Come and join us. So first of all, as I like to do to start off with, we'll start off by joining as a group in a circle. So I'd like you to just take a moment, whether you're sitting or standing, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that you are in the circle, just like we're in a class, when you're in an actual workshop class together. So see the circle of people, nice big circle of people, everyone who's joining right now live, as well as people who are joining in later. We're all together just to feel that group sense. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Okay, you can open your eyes. And if you haven't already, then come to standing up. Excuse me. So now that we're standing, just give a little bit of a shake in case you've been cold sitting. Okay. And then bring your attention to the top of your head. Feel the top of your cranium, the top of your skull, and scan down. Notice how your head is feeling, front, sides, back, the ears, the face, and scanning through the neck. How's your neck today? Any tension, any weakness, any funny feeling, any interest anywhere? And then along the tops of the shoulders, down through the arms, through the shoulder joint, upper arms, through the elbows. How are your elbows today? Forearms, wrists, hands and fingers. Just notice how your whole arms are just hanging there. Okay. And then come back up to the upper body, chest, upper back, and then scan down through the rib cage, your torso, inside in your organs, as well as in the sides, front and back. And through the belly, no more ribs here, but you have your spine in the back and your organs in the front. And then your hips, pelvis, sacrum. And what about through your upper leg, the thigh, the longest bone, the femur? To your knees, how are your knee joints today? Down through the lower leg, calf muscles, shins, ankles, feet and toes, give them a wiggle. Feet flat on the ground. Okay, and just take an overall general picture of your whole body, the whole sense of you. Now, maybe just get a sense of an image of that. What would that be like? So if you have pen and paper nearby, as we often do, just grab a piece of pen and paper, make a quick picture, and it could be completely metaphorical picture. Maybe you're drawing a landscape or something like that. Or it could just be an image of your body with some interesting areas to it. So mine's very simple. As you can see, a bit of tension there in the shoulders and a bit around the lower rib cage, and then not quite enough energy in the legs. That's my sort of feeling. But we're going to come back to now checking in with the 3 burning spaces. You should have all done this before, so I'll just go straight into it. If you haven't done it before, then just try to follow along. But from the belly button down to the pubic bone is our lower burner. You can have your hands on the front or front and back. And just tune into this space where we have all the intestines, the kidney, bladder. What's it like inside of here? Lower burner. What's that like? Okay, just getting a snapshot picture of it, not spending too much time with it. Now, from the belly button up to the diaphragm, which is about level with where the ribs meet, this is your middle burner. So we've got sort of stomach, spleen, liver, gallbladder, that sort of stuff in here. But how is this area inside? What's the quality like inside of me in this space? That's what you want to be asking. Sink in. Okay, now is it different from the lower burner? Lower burner was like this. Check in. Middle burner. Okay, is that quality any different? So keep that in mind. Now we're going to go from the diaphragm up to where your collarbones are here. So initially we've done the lower burner, then we've done the middle burner, now we're doing the upper burner. Okay, so up here in this top space of the lungs and heart and stuff. What's the upper burner like? Okay, just compare that briefly to the middle burner. Remember the middle burner, tune into that. There, that's that. Upper burner. Okay, quite different for me. So if you have pen and paper, again, just take a moment to make a bit of a picture or some kind of discernment of how they may be different. Okay, so with mine, I've briefly shown how the lower burner is sort of like it's all right, it's a bit like a sort of a ball, a splodgy ball. The middle burner, as I said before, has that tightness going in, and the upper burner feels like it's sort of almost going out a bit. Hopefully it'll be much calmer and clearer and even by the end. So however your image of your 3 burners was, I'm now going to do a poll to ask you, here we go, which burner do you want to work on most today? So out of the 3 burning spaces that you tuned into, which is the one that you want to focus on most for you? Now, obviously, we're going to work on all of them. For me, what would I want to work on most? I suppose maybe I'd want to work on clearing the middle burner, but then it would be quite nice for the upper burner to not feel so much like that. So what have we got here? We've got more than half of you have already put in. So we've got mostly upper burner, which is great because the point of the week is in the lung area, so upper burner. But fairly even actually now, lower and upper. Okay, so there's sort of, there is an interesting amount on the upper burner, but it's become equal now with the lower burner, and not as many people want to work on the middle burner. But that's fine. And there's a great There's a great connection between the two, and maybe we'll explore that a bit today. Okay, yeah, kidneys and lung, here we go. Now I'm going to get you to do one more thing in terms of scanning. It's not so much scanning, it's more just listening in and noticing. And I'll do one more poll with you. And here we go. So if you bring your attention quietly inside, okay, and we're just going to listen to the breath coming in and going out. So in terms of the lungs, noticing when you breathe in, where does your breath mainly go to? Are you more upper chest and shoulders? Are you more into the ribs? Are you more into your belly or base? Where are you breathing into mainly? Just notice in yourself. Just trying to watch the breath come in and then let go again. Okay. So I'm going to bring a poll on. Hopefully you had a chance to notice something of the breath. Here we go. Was it in the upper lungs, the lungs in general, the upper abdomen as a whole up here, or was it in the lower abdomen down here? So we've got, okay, more and more answers coming in. This is great. So it's shifting it about. Upper abdomen seems to be in the running here. There's a few people who are kind of more general lungs, some people getting right down low into the lower abdomen. And there's a little bit of upper lung stuff here. Okay, yeah, so it's mainly looking like most people are breathing into a sort of the lungs, just generally here, and into the upper abdomen, sort of rib cage, lower rib cage, upper abdomen space. So remember that, and I'll see if we can come back to this again at the end, after we've been through all of the different exercises and work the points and things. Oh, Jane, I can rarely choose which burner, so I usually pick lower as the foundation for the others or middle for wood decisions. I'm glad we always work them all. Well, yeah, we do work them all. Yes, it's great to pick the lower because that is the foundation of them all. But sometimes it's just a little bit clearer than others, and we just have to trust that little sort of moment of notion of something going, oh, I suppose maybe there's something a little bit like that about the middle or the upper or the lower, whichever one takes us. Okay. As I've done a few times recently, before really getting going, I'm going to get us to tune straight into the point of the week, just to see, without any warming up, without any movement of Qi, of our energy, whether we get much response from the point of the week, and then later, when we've done a lot more work, what it's like then. Okay, so I'm going to get the slides up. Boom. Lung 5. So we've got the the elbow crease. Qi cubit marsh. On the name, cubit indicates the distance from the middle position to the elbow crease. So basically also this is sometimes called the cubital crease. So really that's just describing where it is in the body. And the marsh side of it it's about the quality of the Qi flow, which tends to slow down here as if it's spreading out. Often points are called like, you've got a spring point, like a water springing up from the ground. And then it's more like a well point or a source point, like a source of water that you can find, where it's actually coming out into the, coming out to be able to draw water from. And then you've got a stream point, and then a river point, and then sometimes a marsh point or a sea point. And if you think of this landscape quality, the way the Qi flows, it's like a bubbling spring, and then it's more like a slightly larger well, and then it's more like a flowing stream, and then it's more like a great river, and then it's much more spread out, like the marsh, the estuary that reaches the sea. So this is the quality. It tends to spread out a bit. Now, from there, I'm going to take the slide down and describe to you with my own elbow where we're going. So here's, you see that obvious vein. I don't know whether I can make a, you have an obvious tendon there at the bottom of the bicep. So you've got the elbow crease, as you can see, and then you're just in from the very edge of the elbow crease, a short way over from the tendon that you can feel at the bottom there. So if you go into the middle, you'll feel that tendon. You come out by just about a sun out. Okay, so hold with a finger maybe, or you can get into it with a thumb, and you're just sinking in. They're not sort of, you know, pressing, you're more sinking in. And notice, is it more locally in the elbow? Is it spreading out? Is it affecting somewhere else in the body? Yeah, thank you, Kat. 1 cern is one of your thumb widths. So whereabouts, or what sort of a quality are you finding with this point? Oh, okay, so I'm getting several things going on at once now. The more I work it, the more it's changing. Okay, that's one side. The other side, so we have, that's the elbow crease. That's the elbow crease, as you see there. Now there's a tendon just here. You can see it a bit better now. And you're going to the outside, but you're not going off to the side. You're kind of still on the front, pretty much. You see how that's still on the front? Okay. So just going to sink in. Sink in. And just notice again, is it more local? Is it a bit more spread out? Does it go somewhere in particular in the body with an effect? Is there a quality about it? Okay. Again, for me, I'm finding that the more I work it, the more it's sort of moving out. So it starts off very locally, and then I find that it opens into the sort of shoulder and chest, and then it starts to have deeper effects if I keep going with it. It'd be interesting to see if you all found anything in particular. James, ooh, lovely calming. Peace on the left side. That sounds delicious. So we are going to come back to that point in a little while, and we'll go into it in more detail. I just wanted to start us off with that feeling of that point, getting to know it a bit. There and there. Okay, let us stand up and get started properly. So we're going to start with the lower burner as usual, but first of all, just take your weight over to one side and then the other, and that side. Now, sometimes we kind of go up and then down. Now, I'm just going to move on to that side. Now, I'd like you to imagine that you're sliding your weight under the ground to the other foot. Sliding the weight down to the other. It almost means your body has to sink and relax. Feel that sinking down. And for the weight to really be caught by the other foot, you have to start opening that kidney one there and sink in. And then sink across, feel the other kidney one open up there. Okay, so just do this a couple more times, opening kidney one on that side until you feel your weight sink in. And then you've got yourself grounded, you see. Slide across, open kidney one until your weight, where is it? There. You see how it kind of just helps you drop in? Okay, so now we're going to stay on one side, stretch out the foot. If you can't stretch over in front of you, put the foot behind you. It's just to feel a stretch on the top of the foot. Okay, now we're going to do some circles with the feet. Wow, I've got clicky ankles. Okay, give it a shake. Place that down. Sink the weight across, open kidney one. Now the other side, stretch out the foot. If you can, over the top in front of you. If you can't, put it behind you. You can even lean against the wall, just to feel a stretch in the top of the foot. Okay. Circles. As smooth as you can make it. When circling the joints, it's great to make the joints as smooth and as easy as you can. Okay, give it a shake. Now let's take the shaking all the way into the whole leg. Circle that lovely knee smoothly. Shake the other leg. Knee as smoothly as you can. And there we go, a little bit of a, do the twist. Then get a bounce going, so you open the arms a little bit. Try not to jolt them too much. Again, you can do the elbows nice and smoothly. You can circle the hands if you want to, nice and freely, opening up the channels for blood as well as for Qi to flow smoothly. Nice and smooth of the shoulders. Okay. So we should be fairly warmed up and loosened up. Now bring your hands to your lower burner, belly button to pubis, the pubic bone. And tune in, but as if you're sending something in here. What is it you need? Does it feel hot and full? Do you need it to cool down? Or is it a bit weak and low and it's needing warmth and nourishing? So you send a quality that you need. Just simple. Nice. I'm going to breathe in. Down into that area, let it sink, and then only breathe out what you don't need. Breathe in and sink. Sink it down, let the kidneys grasp it, and then breathe out what you don't need. One more time, breathing in. Let it sink down to the kidneys, let the kidneys grasp. Breathe out what you don't need. Okay, maybe give that a bit of a rub. And if you can reach round to your back, then circle your kidneys and your lower back to the tops of your hips, tops of the sacrum. And if you can't reach round to the back, just keep circling on the front of the lower burner. But imagine as you do that it's going right the way through to the spine. So it's like you're going. Otherwise, here, warming the kidneys, warming the lower burner, or helping to move and shift the kidneys and move and shift the lower bone, or whatever's the intention that is right for you. Bring your attention to that. Okay. Now we're going to tap down the bladder in the middle of the back of the leg to the little toe, and then we'll come up the inner aspect of the back of the leg. So I find it easiest to turn your feet out for the kidney. Okay, so down the bladder to the little toe, turn your toes out, come up the inner aspect of the back of the leg, and down again. Last time. Okay, and then we'll do kidney 1. Just grab the chair. Come on, everybody's favourite chance to play with their feet. So getting just into the sole of the foot in general. Just opening out the feet in general. Give it a good old squeeze around like you're kneading dough, if you've ever done that before. And then you'll see here you can use the whole foot if you want to. Imagine the whole foot is broken into thirds. Or if you find the ball of the foot, you're just underneath in that soft spot there. Kidney 1 sinking in. Oh, it feels so nice. As I've said before, this is a great one to use in the evening time to bring that yin quality in, especially if you turn the lights down lower, you don't use your screens as much, maybe even have candlelight. It then brings the, is it the melanin? I can't remember now. But there's a quality that encourages the brain and the body to start sinking into that more parasympathetic nervous system quality, and therefore rested state, or in our terms, a more yin state. And this point can encourage it because it's the most yin point in the body. Okay, give it a bit of a slap, just to sort of also give it a wake up and an invigoration. Okay, other side. We're just generally squeezing and massaging and opening. Oh, I don't forget the heel. And if you can't reach your own feet, the best thing is getting someone else to reach your feet for you. Otherwise, you can use the corner of something. I'll just lean back a little bit. If you can use the corner of something, you can kind of work your foot on it. Okay, and then we're getting into that kidney 1 point. Lovely. Okay, sinking it and feeling it opening up, or if you want to, you can feel it connecting all the way through into the body. Lovely. Okay. I've said it many times, never underestimate a good sigh. And it's actually been scientifically proven that you can use your sigh to relax the nervous system and release good chemicals in the brain. So let us return to our standing. Or if you need to stay sitting, that's fine, but return the feet to the floor. Maybe use your toes and just grasp the floor a little bit. Okay. Feel that kidney 1 opening, the sole of the feet settling. That openness through the legs into the lower burner. Feel that connection. Lovely. Okay, now let's try again with the breathing and just notice if it feels any easier to breathe all the way into the lower burner and sink. So let's now try breathing in. Let it sink and settle in the lower burner, the lower back. Breathe out what you don't need. Do a couple more. Let it be grasped by the kidneys and release what you don't need. As we breathe in, the lungs descend and disperse and the kidneys can grasp. So we're going to breathe in, let the kidneys just sort of anchor down what we're bringing in. So last breath in. And relax and breathe out. Okay, nice. And briefly tuning in, how is that lower burner now? Compared to how it was when we started. If you remember, I drew a picture and now my quality is like this. If you maybe drew a picture or you just had a remembrance of it, what is it like now? Excellent. Okay, mine's quite different. So now we're going to focus on the middle burner. Now, less people asked to work on the middle burner. Obviously, we're going to do some work. So some of the work is with the spleen and some of it is more with the liver. The spleen is a lot about nourishment, nurturing, but also grounding, stability, and calmness of mind. So we're going to do something that's very simple. Find your belly button, place both hands over it. Bring a bit of warmth, a bit of nourishment. Imagine a perfect elixir pouring out from your hands into your digestion. It's just what you need. You don't need to know exactly what it is, but it is like a perfect elixir pouring in without effort. It's just there. Lovely. And as your body is receiving it, we can start to do circles. You're coming up on the right-hand side, come across, down on the left-hand side. And this is just following your intestinal tract. You've got the small intestine, then the large intestine moves up, across, and down. Okay. And you can make these circles slow at the beginning if you want to, but then speed it up a bit. Bring a bit of energy. Keep with that feeling of the elixir pouring in. Keep that lovely warmth and nourishment. Excuse me. We're just going to do another few seconds of circles, pouring lovely nourishment into the digestive organs, all of them being beautifully warmed and nourished and exercised, massaged and brightened. Mostly I sigh, but with the digestive organs, a good or a yum, 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 yum. That's going to be a good thing. Okay, and then let the circle slow down and slow down until they become smaller and smaller. The movement settling into the center. And then let that sink deeper and deeper until you can just let go. Okay, and we're going to tap down the stomach, which is on the stomach and spleen are on the front of the legs, all the way down. Now, imagine train tracks either side of the kneecaps, and they go all the way up and all the way down. So we're on the outer track going down for the stomach, and that goes to the toe next to the big toe, and then we come up the inside of the foot and go up the inner train track. So start at the belly, tap down, outer, front, up, inner front. And we'll do that a couple more times. Okay. Now we're just briefly going to check in with the gallbladder and liver, which are more sides of the body. And we're going to briefly do the twisty thing. I think that's the technical name. So feet, as you can see, they're straight forwards. They're not, you know, like this. You want to have them literally facing straight forwards. And then the knees, they're not dropped in. They're straight forwards. When we turn, we don't drop the knees at all. We try to turn and keep the knees straight forwards as much as possible. We're not leaning over when we turn. We're trying to stay in the middle. So our center is central the whole time. And then just turn the hips as if you're turning from corner to corner. Relax through the legs, relax through the lower back. That lower burner, lovely and grounded like it was before, kidney 1 nice and open. So turn the hips and then start to loosen a bit with the middle of the body. Let the breath find its way in. And if you're really needing to release a bit more tension in the middle, then you can let your hands come up and gently tap. When you've warmed up a bit like this, then you can go for it a bit more. I'm moving away from the wall so I don't hurt myself. If you need to really release, you know, or if your tension is more up in the shoulders, you can, you know, do this sort of thing. But if it's more just a sort of a general opening, then just feel that sense of the body just keeps turning. Turn the hips, allow the body to keep turning. So I've got tension, like I showed in my mid, but I've also got a feeling of slight fragility, is that the right word? Maybe vulnerability, weakness, a bit deficient. So I'm not really going for it, but I'm allowing that feeling of twist to open. Okay, and then letting it gently relax. You're not stopping it, but you're just not putting the effort in so much anymore. And just letting the movement take care of itself, get smaller and smaller, until the movement is almost more just in the middle of the body, just finding its place, settling in, settling in, settling in. Let the breath settle in with it. And then let it go. Okay, lovely. And a little bit of tapping down the sides of the rib cage. And edge of the hips. You can use your fist if you want as well, but have a loose wrist. All around the buttocks and the hips, outside of the legs, inside of the legs, outside, inside. Okay, that's the middle burner sorted. Oh, let's just check in though. What's it like now? Okay. Do you remember how it was when we first started, when we first tuned into the burners? And then how is it now? Nice. And again, you can check in with the lower burner, how the lower burner is now. Good, good. I've still got a bit of that nice, more firm than it was. Good quality Qi. Middle burner, pardon me, middle burner's working. And a bit more freer. So now the upper burner. I'm getting really warm, so I'm just going to have to take off my jumper. Okay. So now we're going to work the upper burner, which is one of the most called for things from the poles. So the first thing we're going to do is to stretch the arms a bit in a few different ways. So we'll work the heart protector stretch, and then we'll do the lung stretch. So the heart protector stretch, remember, we start like this, and it's drawing the arms forwards, brings the stretch around the triple heater channel, and then we stretch open like that, breathing out, and just bring your middle fingers backwards to just give that little extra. Okay, so breathing in, breathing out. Little middle fingers back. Okay. Nice. Breathe in. And you can feel, imagine that you're surrounding your center. Breathe out. Allow that center to just be gently stretched open, just gently, not forcefully, just gently. Okay, relax. Shoulders a shake. One more time. Surrounding nice and strongly. And then opening and relaxing nicely. Middle fingers back. Drop. Okay. Nice. And we'll check. We won't do 3 full breaths. We'll just check in again with the breathing and how easily it's settling into the lower burner again. So how freely does the breath move through the body into the lower body, front and back? So just take a couple of breaths. Relax, and then breathe out. Breathing in. Relax and breathe out. Okay. So maybe a bit different from when we first started and we were noticing our breathing, because we've done a bit of work with the lower burner. Let's now open up the lungs a bit. So we're going to do a lung stretch. So I want you to kind of reach up. I'll come back like this. Point your thumbs and index fingers, because that opens the lung and large intestine channel. So you're going to reach up as easy as you can with your shoulders, upwards like this, a bit like a yawn in the morning. And then, so make a lovely big sigh release when you kind of just drop your arms. And if your shoulders can't come right up like this, you just take it to where you need to be and then let that drop. So enough to feel a gentle stretch. Breathing in. If you want to make it a yawn, make it a yawn. Just do a couple more. Last one. Okay. And then I'm going to get us to do some tapping across the top of the chest. Lung 1, do you remember we tapped that before? And then down the lung channel, which is just above the bicep, onto the top front of the forearm down to the thumb, index finger, and then just on top edge of the forearm, top edge of the upper arm and shoulder to the neck. Very close to each other because they're partners in the metal element. Okay, and come across. Spend a bit of time with lung 1. Yeah. Into the thumb, up the forefinger, just above where we were. Shoulder on top of the shoulder to the neck. Lovely. Okay, give a bit of a shake. La 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 la. We're going to do the point of the week again. Okay. Annette, you said another wonderful yawning class. Brilliant. I once did a workshop with Kishi, who used to be a fantastic Shiatsu practitioner and then started his own practice called Seiki. And one of the exercises we did was yawning for 9 yawns straight in a row. And I honestly thought I was going to put my jaw out of place. But it felt amazing. So I think it's a fantastic thing to try out, giving maybe not 9, but a few in a row. Okay, so as this point shows here in this picture, yeah. Oh, hang on. There we go. You see it's still on the front of the arm, but it's next to the bicep. So, and that's there. Front of the arm. Here's the tendon. As you can see, it's kind of boinging around, and you're just outside of it before it would turn outwards. Okay, so this point, great way to clear old air and refresh our lungs, says Kat for the yawns. They are fantastic. Here we go. So, Qi cubit marsh, lung 5. It regulates and it tonifies, strengthens, tones up the lungs, the lung qi, and therefore the lung organ. I'm holding it whilst I'm reading this, by the way, so feel free to do the same. It's said to expand and release the chest. So that tonifying the lungs helps it to both the inhale and the exhale. So expand and release. So if anyone has any difficulty in that, tightness in the chest, or not feeling like they can quite get a full breath in, or not quite being able to breathe fully out, then this is a great point for that. It's said to help with elbow pain. I'm going to just go into this a little bit more. So for those who have done a bit of work with Qi before, it's great at clearing heat. You'll find all of the elbow and knee points are great points for clearing heat. And I would imagine it's mostly because at elbows and knees, the blood has to come to the surface a lot because there's nowhere else to go. And so heat can be released out of the blood. Personally, I'm just going out on a limb, to say that that's most likely the case. But you've got one of the most cooling points in the body, in the large intestine there, just next to that lung point. So clearing the heat from the lungs, and it's said to descend rebellious qi. So if you're feeling all a bit up like this and like, I'm just not quite, breathing is all stuck up here, this will help to descend, which the lungs are meant to do naturally, descend and disperse the qi that you're bringing in and the fluids that are in the upper body. They are to descend and to disperse. Okay. It's said to regulate the water passages. That will again be that dispersal of fluids that the lungs does, because they're at the top. They're like the very canopy of everything. So they really want to help spread things out underneath them to all of the other organs. It can activate the channel in general. So if you're generally through here feeling a bit blocked and tight and feels like the lungs are not really getting action going, it opens and activates the channel. And then for the elbow pain, it's because it can relax the sinews and alleviate pain in the area. So many wonderful things. on that note, let's just give it another go. I'm going to drop this and we'll come back up. So let's just tune in, all of us together at the same time. Find the point. You've got the tendon on the elbow crease, and you're coming out towards the further edge of the front. Tune in, find the point where it feels like it's sinking in. What's it like for you? Is it sore or is it needing that sinking in? And then does it feel more local or does it feel like it's more going elsewhere and having an alternate effect? Okay, lovely. Let us know on the chat if you like. That was one side, and we're going to do the other side now. So again, you find the tendon. There it is, big tendon. You really sort of notice it because it's, as you can see in my arm, it's going boing, boing, boing there. Then you're just outside of that. So it brings movement to the whole chest. From Stephanie, thank you. And my intestines are making noise. Yeah, that can definitely happen. Okay, so let's try this side. Sinking in, noticing what it's like on this side. Okay, slightly different for me. Where does it go if you stay with it? Does it change at all? Okay. So when I first contacted, when I contacted this side, it was very much a local thing, in the elbow, in the sinews, and then that kind of started to move up the channel. So that channel opening thing I said. When I went to this side, it was instant channel opening. And then when I sunk further in, I felt that kind of releasing and sinking of that lung qi. In my drawing at the beginning, I had drawn the lungs a bit like this, a little bit like that. And I felt that sinking down into the lower body where the kidney has that grasping effect. Now we had Vicky says, I can feel heat dispersing through my body. Fantastic. That is wonderful. Okay, we're in the last few minutes. So we're going to do a little bit of a clearing of yang channels from the head. And then if we've got any time, we'll just do one last Tai Chi type movement. But for now, we're going to tap over the top of the head, around about just outside the middle of the head. And then bring it round a bit more to the sides, right round next to the ear. And just stroke over the top of the head from the face towards the neck. Okay. And then going down the neck, you can either just tap the sort of, you've got the large muscle front here, the SCM, and then you've got the side, and then you've got the back. So you do light tapping like this, or if you want, you can hold the elbow and move it with the other arm. So you make it as light as you want to, on the side and then on the back. And then you've got the tops of the shoulders. And if you can, moving around onto the backs of the shoulders. Okay. One side, notice what they're like, two sides, side that's just been worked, and the side that hasn't. Okay, I prefer this method, but you may just want to be doing this sort of thing. So the front large muscle here, so you've got the front, and then more on the side, and then more around the back of the neck. And then you've got the top of the shoulder. And then over around the back of the shoulder. Okay. Give them both a bit of a shake out. Stroke down the arms like this. And you're going round the backs of the arms. It's almost like you're drawing what's in the shoulders down to the hands. Draw it down, draw it down, draw it down. And then we're going to do a few breaths where we, like that. It's almost like you're drawing up the tension that you can feel in your arms and shoulders, and then you're throwing it kind of out and back down to the ground. Give it a little bit of a jiggle. Maybe just another little rub down of the kidneys and the lower back. Okay. And we've got just enough time to do the lovely, lovely, lovely opening exercise in Tai Chi. So if you let your hands relax by your side, and then turn them so that the thumbs are touching the thighs. Allow your body to sink down, but not like that. It's as if you're sinking straight down, like you're about to sit down on a stool. See, just sitting down. Okay, and then legs press into the ground, shoulders roll back and arms float up, but no higher than shoulder height. And then as you sink down, it's like they just roll over something, as if they were just resting on top of something. And then as you slide down, they just roll off of the thing they were resting on. Pushing into the ground, making space for the shoulders to sink, which raises the hands. And then letting everything settle and sink and relax. Back down. Okay. So then we can play with this quality. As you're breathing, you can try breathing in and filling up and expanding. As you breathe out, everything sinks in. So we're playing with the breath on this one, as we've just worked it so much. And then let the breath be completely normal, however it wants to be. And just allow yourself to float and sink. Connected with the ground, connected with the heavens. Gently floating, gently sinking. Last two. Okay. And now we're going to just imagine that we're in our group again. So close your eyes, see the circle of everyone in this group that's just been joining in this class, whether live in the moment that it goes out or whether watching in replay. We're all here together. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It's so lovely to be here as a group with you. Okay, thank you all. Lovely to see you all again. How's it all been in the chat? There's lots going on, but it's been wonderful. Oh, we feel much more balanced, Sarah. It's lovely to know. Thank you all for joining us. For after all, if it were not you joining us, we would just be a bunch of people moving around in front of a camera. So it's wonderful to have the class. Have yourselves a lovely day. Thank you very much, Kat, for fielding all of the stuff online with chat. And we shall see you next week. I think we have another lung point and we will have a different presenter. Enjoy. Lots of love. Enjoy your day.